week has been a total disaster, but I want to get this video filmed, so I'm gonna film it, dang it. Hope I don't lose power in the middle of it. So, fingers crossed. Hi guys, it's April, and this past weekend, the 12th through the 14th, was Manga Love. I managed to read 7 volumes of manga. I had planned on, or at least was hoping to read more than that, but mental state and then how everything started crashing and burning the rest of the week just kind of snowballed into a mess that is life right now. But I do have to say I am very happy with what I did read. Now, I did do a whole bunch of little stories as I read things throughout this weekend that I did put up on Instagram, on this channel, and on Twitter and my Facebook group. I tried to disperse it throughout all of those platforms. And I'm thinking about doing that for all of the readathons this year. So instead of doing vlogs, I will just do those stories update, because sometimes when I'm doing vlogs, I don't feel like I am that exciting. So I'm gonna try that format. So look for those in the future. I think some of them are still up on this channel at least, because I don't necessarily understand when stories disappear for YouTube compared to Instagram being 24-hour, and I think Twitter is 24 hours and Facebook maybe it's 24 hours, but YouTube is a whole class of its own, so who knows? But let me get into the mangas that I read. So the first manga I read was volume 1 of Bibliophile Princess. This is an adorable story about a princess who is just enamored with reading, and her whole world involves around reading, when a prince makes an agreement with her that they will be fiancés and she will have full run of the royal library. So this first volume takes place about 4 years after that original engagement. And here we have one of the rivals who's trying to kind of get her way into Prince Christopher's good graces. And of course, our princess is completely clueless, which is what I love about this manga. Now, I do know that the series is based off of a novelization. I have since acquired at least up to book 4 in this series because I need to know what happens. My plan is to, at some point, possibly do a comparison for volume 1 of the manga compared to the book 1, and then maybe just a review over all of the volumes of books that have been released. But I don't necessarily know if that's something that you guys would be interested in, so I'm throwing that out there. Let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. But the next manga that I read is Leia, Princess of Alderaan. This is based off of Claudia Gray's novelization of the same story. I loved the story when I read the novelization. And to see it depicted here, with all the familiar faces of Leia, I just enjoyed it so much. So this is the story of 16-year-old Leia, who is coming into her princesship. She has a lot of requirements that she must meet before she can be fully accepted as a princess of Alderaan. So this is her as she starts to realize what the Empire is doing across the galaxy, and possibly what her parents are involved in. And then finally, last but not least, I'm going to talk about these 5 volumes together because they are all part of the, what are these called? My brain, it just disappeared. They are all part of the Fruits Basket series. So I read volume 1 through 5 of this, and the nostalgia is real. I loved getting back with these characters. I first read this in college 12 to 14 years ago. I don't even remember at this point. I did not realize that these are originally from 1999. And the first time I read through these, I have a nasty habit of just reading what I want to read and not reading the extra material that are commonly added to mangas like this. So you have a whole bunch of author's notes where sometimes they just ramble hysterically. And I actually took the time to sit there and read the notes this time, and she just constantly goes on and on about random video games. I don't get a lot of the references, but I was talking to others who have that, and they were brought back to 1999 to the early 2000s in those little rambles, and I need to make it a priority to read those from now on. Now, there are parts in this story that didn't necessarily age well. I know because of how old these are at this point that some of the viewpoints over cross-dressing and all of that kind of stuff have shifted a little bit. So some of that is a little uncomfortable now, being where we're at and looking back at what this book, this series was doing and some of the characters' reactions to it. So there was, I believe, in volume 4, there was a scene there that just kind of, at this point in my life, just kind of didn't sit well with me. So that's the only one that I kind of had to like drop a rating a little bit because of that. But otherwise, I loved this so much, and I'm going to be continuing on in this series for the rest of this year because I need to, which also means I need to pick up some of the volumes that I am missing. It's going to have to be a thing. So those are all of the manga that I read this past weekend. I really love when Shay puts these things on. It kind of gives me an excuse to separate myself out from what I was currently working on and just dive into these things and just enjoy my weekend. If you participated in Manga Love, tell me down below what you decided to read, how you felt about them. I would love to know. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, hit that bell, do all of those things to get all of the notifications. And I heart to beautiful faces. Bye.